Just talk us through that first of all.
Cool. Well, our start to the game were really poor, James. You know, we're rabbits in the headlights. I just said on the Sky, after you dip your toe in the pond at a place like this, then you've got it coming to you. We just really struggled with the big fellas up, up front through the middle. But my main concern, mate, I just felt we weren't doing it as a team. We were trying to tackle. We were really chesty, tackling with his arms. It became really individual. So the ruck speed just got way too quick. And when you're playing St Helens, they always start massive on you. You've just got to weather that storm in the hope that you can reach the port against them a little bit. But we had just simply no answer to it physically, mate. Early doors, and struggled to get out of his own end. And yeah, it was a really difficult first half for us. Second half, we talked about the choice at half time. We've got a choice. We can continue in the same vein, for some more embarrassment, or we can do it together, dip our shoulders in, go through the pain barrier a little bit better than what we did in that half. And if you're prepared to invest that energy and that difficulty, it probably will reward you a bit. And his defensive effort we're a lot better in the second half, but obviously the game were well and truly gone, long before that.
Were there sort of any signs in the week that this was possibly coming or not?
I'd probably say to you, James, if we've got 13 players missing from our team, I think if you have every single player available, coming to Saints is a difficult task. And I think coming with a massively inexperienced team like we have today, with all your big guns, firepower out up the middle, it can be a tough night. So signs, we had a tough game over 90 minutes last week, just like Saints did. But long and short of it, I just think we were lacking our big guns on a night when you needed them more than any other night on the calendar. If I'm totally honest, and that's it's tough. And am I disappointed? Yeah. Can some of the some of the younger end of our squad learn from that? I would hope so. We've got a pack with Allroyd, O'Connor, Walters in it. Broadbent defending on the edge. Can they learn from that? Yeah, they can. And I think they will. So, at this stage in the season, we're disappointed with the performance. We're disappointed with the scoreboard. Disappointed with the result. But we're not going to carry it with us. We're going to dust ourselves down and get back on it next week.
Talking of big guns, how tough was Alex Walmsley to handle tonight?
Well, when they have the possession and a position like that, and he's on the back of some of the platform waves, he's a very, very difficult man to stop, and we had a lot of trouble with him. We had a lot of trouble with him.
So it looks like it's all going to come down to next week. Can you hold your nerve? That's going to be the question. Oh,
absolutely. We've had some tough challenges all year, James, as you know, and I'm not going to let a really tough 40 minutes derail us. I know in the aftermath of a tough defeat, it's very easy to be down and dejected, and we are, but at the same time, we've still got a lot to play for. Still got an awful lot to play for, and I think the message is, we'll understand, we'll learn from that. And next week, we'll have a big game on whatever the results and permutations. I think generally on a top 8 system, if you finish outside the top 4, correct me if I'm wrong, you generally need to win 3 games to get to a GF. We're in no different position. We would need to win 3 games to get to a GF. Having said that, I'm not sat here going, we're a team that's ready to get to the GF just yet. I think, what the team we put out tonight will need. We'll need some help, hopefully, with a couple of guys coming back into the squad, which will help us. But I know on any given day, our boys, our boys can really, really front up. So yeah, disappointing tonight, but at the same time, just about next week now. And if it is a sudden death game and we don't want to rely on other results, then we'll make sure that we're as ready as we can be for that.
Just lastly for me, Corey Johnson, it's an incredible story, isn't it? How did you think he went tonight?
Really well. Really well. Thought he played the ruck really well. give us some great energy defensively in the middle. A couple of times he got posted one-on-one with Big Al and give it everything he's got and put some really brave tackles in there. Look, I think Corey's a really good rugby league player, and if he wants to be, he can be an exceptionally good one.
Cheers, Rich.
Thanks, mate.
Rich?
Hi, pal.
Just checking on Morgan Gannon. He didn't feature tonight. Is he injured or just not selected?
Just rested for tonight, Pete.
Rested, yeah. And Dono? I understand he's ill.
Dono's ill. Tied off this afternoon.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Rich.
Hey, pal.
Just on the physical side of it, as you said, it's sort of a brutal, I suppose, lesson of how physical this is for some of these young guys. But is there, with a bit of, you can look back on it and maybe will be a very important night in the development of these guys. You know, we talk 5, 6, 7 years down the line. It might be a night they remember for the wrong reasons, but could benefit them in the long run.
Yeah, we hope so. And we've actually talked about that with them after. You know, we know, you know, the physical nature, you know, in respective of both teams tonight. You know, I thought that were a big difference. You know, some of our guys are on the way up in terms of that journey, but we've still got plenty of physical improvements in us, and some of the lessons that we're talking about, learning about, you know, investing that energy and going through them, you know, that pain early on in the game can really help you later on in games. As I say, I did think we learned a lesson from first half to second half, albeit too late and too ugly by the time we did that. But yes, you know, it's all part of the journey moving forward. And as I say, while it's a difficult night and an ugly scoreboard, and certainly an ugly performance, first half in particular, there's some great lessons for us and some understandable ones, Matt, about where we're probably at this moment in time.
I think,
but I'll repeat, we're not going to let it derail the season.
I think you mentioned, you know, you felt like defending too much on your own at times. There were a lot of one-on-ones, and people point out the one-on-one misses. But is the bigger issue really that there was so many of those moments where your defenders were isolated on their own against a Knowles, a Worms? You know, like Knowles has had a couple where he's beat 2 or 3 men, but if everyone's together, maybe it don't happen, stuff like that.
Everyone's together. Yeah. Discipline. Discipline in your defensive. It's the ultimate discipline is your defensive line, and working collectively and together. And sometimes, you know, when you got big bodies at speed coming at you like that, it's hard, and you gotta bend your back and dip your shoulder, and it hurts, and it hurts when you're under fatigue. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And we just didn't do it well enough. You know, rabbits in the headlights is the expression I'd use. In the early stages of the game, we simply did not do that well enough, and that's what leads to a lot of, you know, one-on-one, chesty, arm-grabbing tackles. At the same time, Matt, some of them weren't good enough. You know, when we look back at the tries, and we'll have a very, you know, the guys will look at the video and a very honest review. You know, so a couple of the younger guys have come off and straight up, well, I'm really sorry about that. And it's important that they learn from that. You know, it's really important that they learn from that and do it to a much better, consistent level. But at the same time, like I've said, as tough a night as it is, we've still got a lot to play for, and we need to, you know, quickly dust ourselves off and move on for next week.